instructions, press 2.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape we went to the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still, to a land where no mankind dwelt. We went, the 12 tribes of Israel. We be Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the house of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint to gather our wives and children and sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled and sailed. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Gather us. Whoa. Gathering Israel. Oh. Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, that's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the house of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Ooh. That's right, brothers and sisters. The Most High is gathering Israel. I'm Elder Ricard Shiar here live with Elder Lawyer. Shalom, my brother.
Shalom.
That's right. I'm glad you were able to join us. I'm glad you all are able to join us this evening. And right now we have Elder Gabar working around the clock with I Am Apparel. He'll be joining us shortly in this broadcast. And I don't know whether or not Gaja, I know he's doing work overseas right now. And so I'll be waiting to see if he's going to text me to come in. But you can come in, all right? And if you would like to actually call in and give your opinion or actually just dialogue on this particular topic, you're more than welcome. The phone number to dial to come in and talk with us this evening is 515-605-9327. That's 515-605-9327. Again, I'm Elder Ricard Shiar of the Gathering of Christ Church, here with another weekly broadcast. I would like to thank the Most High, the God of Israel, for giving us breath, allowing us another day to come before you. And I thank him for his mercy and grace that he have always had on our people. And I pray that he will help us through this time of trouble, forgive all trespasses, and deliver the children of Israel from the hands of our oppressors. 515-605-9327. Okay? We have an interesting topic this evening. The topic we're doing this evening is titled, if you don't see it in your screen, Taskmasters. Taskmasters, a long overdue broadcast. And I know a lot of you are going to want to chime in on this. Okay, and as you come in, do us a favor to let others know that we're actually broadcasting. Just hit the like button if you don't mind, just so that, it can trend when others come on. If they haven't been notified, they'll know we're broadcasting, and they'll join this broadcast. Okay, 515-605-9327 for those who are waiting for us here, who are listening live through our Blog Talk broadcast. We'd like to say shalom, blessings to you who are listening on Blog Talk. And if you're on YouTube, I see a lot of familiar brothers and sisters there. You can actually dial in 515-605-9327 to get in on this, okay? Now, jumping right in. Oh, yeah, I wanted to remind people that yesterday, Elder Lawyer, we actually released the single online so that people know it's available. I don't know if you heard it.
Oh, yes.
Make a Nation Like Abraham. And we released that to let everyone know that the single will be on, it's on Spotify. It's going to be on Google. It's on Google now. It will soon be on Spotify, Apple Music, other streaming processes, as well as the album for those who have the online iTunes, where you'll have access to the songs directly through iTunes. We finally launched it, and so that the world can receive what the church have been enjoying for a few months.
Yes.
All right. And we put out the song, Make a Nation Like Abraham. And the reason why I wanted to make such a song in the spirit of the Most High, and the Most High given us this song, is because one of the first commands, as you know, in our creation teaching, is he gave man the command, be fruitful and multiply. And it seemed as if Satan have turned that particular righteous act into something fleshly, carnal, and where people are coming together with no purpose at all, with the Most High at all, having some spiritual direction on, family. And the Most High didn't intend for that union to be be strictly a satisfaction of the flesh. And that's why we did the title, Make a Nation. Like that union is with the Most High and the faith of Abraham and Sarah in mind, to bring our children here in righteousness, train them up in the way they would go, and when they're of age, they shall not depart from it. So that was the full focus, because when two people come together, that's a spiritual union that's actually bringing a spirit into the earth from the heavens. The Most High is sending a spirit he cares for into the earth to be cared by us. So, and I don't believe that any of us, ever think of it on that level. You understand? Living in this carnal, wicked, and deceptive world. We've never viewed it that way, but that's the truth. That union is a spiritual union in which a spirit that the Most High have always cared for, it is now entrusted with us. So I know people heard it initially and say, okay, I know Elder's in that Bible and he's teaching. I don't know how to take this particular type of, is it a love song? What is it? Well, it's many things. Yes, it's a love song, but it's also a song that's educational, that will, when people hear the song, they'll be like, well, who's Abraham? Who's Sarah? What is he talking about? Well, we're the children of Israel. And when the promise was given to Abraham, even though they tried over and over until the Most High eventually blessed Sarah with that child, they were actually dealing in a union with a purpose to receive that promise.
Exactly.
So I thought I would quantify it and give y'all the inside understanding of why I did a love song with our biblical father and mother at the helm or at the forefront of it. Okay? Because look at the stuff we bring children in the world under. Straight fleshly, wicked, no intent, no righteous intent. And guess what? Usually how we come together is what's produced from us. That's the product that's produced from us, because it's a union or an agreement without a purpose. So I just wanted to put that out there for you real quick to let you know that on our media channel, GOCC Media, you can actually go and hear the song and get the directions on how you can actually get it on your tablet, your phones, your computer, or whatever the case is. Or if you want to, the website to actually download the album just right now, royaltymusicbyshepherd.com. That link is there also, and I wanted to put that out there since we've launched it. And for those who don't know, who have actually purchased the song before, this is an actual remix of the original song did by my brother Nathaniel, Nate, over in the UK. He did a beautiful mix, nice, clear quality, and the mix was so well that we had to swap out the other song or mix with the upgraded version, okay? So, jumping right in, okay? Our discussion today, Elder Lawyer, Taskmasters. The dark authority in our communities now, the dark authority who systematically oppressed the children of God. Most societal ills, brothers and sisters, which plagues our communities. Now, you notice that for the last month or so, I was specifically been talking about what's plaguing our communities. Christ came for the poor, knowing that the righteous, the 144,000, would come out of these communities. Okay, the Most High didn't come for those who believe they're whole. He came for the sick. And usually, if someone has, accolades and finances and education, these people more so get the glory for their own accomplishments, opposed to the Most High receiving the glory. So the Most High will use the poor. He'll use the destitute, those that are without, to show his power against this satanic authoritative, the satanic government. He would actually show his power through the poor, so that no one can look at it, say it was my education, it was what I did that have allowed such work. That all praises go to the Most High, who have awakened the children of Israel in that destitute state. But I digress. The topic is taskmasters, the dark authority who systematically oppress the children of God. Now, usually when you think about this, the pendulum swings, okay, white man, right?
Yeah.
It swings neighborhood, white man, right? But work with us today. Try to broaden your mind. Try to open yourself up to what's about to be discussed. Most societal ills which plagues the poor communities, like drugs, murder, broken homes, infant mortality, are usually viewed from the inside as a generational hole created by white supremacy to keep us down. But is that the absolute truth? How can an outside hand work without inside help? Now, if you want to say the white man is playing in something and doing that, okay, that's fine. But how can they execute their plan without inside help? And that leads to this discussion this evening, taskmasters. There is a dark element that has always worked within our communities. And I'm speaking of before America. without us recognizing its harmful effects on our people. Can they be identified today? Can we identify those same elements that have always plagued us within? And if so, how can we work around this wicked element? Because guess what? It isn't going anywhere. It isn't. Why do we allow it to affect us? Can we identify it? And how can we work around it? Because it will always be there. You know why it'll always be there? Because wickedness is incentivized in a wicked world. If someone is in a position that's perpetually harming our people, and they're in a high authoritative position, which, makes them middle class or better, think about that. There's about 1,000 people in our communities. If they're in a position that's harming us, there's about 1,000 people that'll be lined up from our communities to take that position if that person retires, if that person was to get charged, or if that person was to move from that position. It'll be 1,000 people lined up to take that authoritative position because it's incentivized. And I'm going to show you it's nothing new under the sun. It has always been that way. We can talk about the drug dealer that's on the corner that is destroying our people from inwardly. If something happens, and it happens all the time, because those that live that life eventually know how it ends. Either you're going to end up in jail or in the ground. But once that corner is clear from the repercussion, there's 100 guys in that neighborhood looking to take that corner. And I can use that example for every ill that have always plagued us. Now, there is a dark element that has always worked within our communities without us recognizing their harmful elements on us. How can we identify them? Or have they been identified already and just ignored? And if so, how do we work around them, knowing that they'll always be there to help an oppressive system that, to actually be there for an oppressive system against their own people? Right? Elder Lloyd, you have anything to say before I start diving in?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. So I thought I would deal with this.
Well, I do.
Okay,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I do have something to say.
Go ahead.
I don't want to take this anywhere else. So
No. If you got to go
let me
somewhere,
know.
go. This is open discussion. Go. It's your time. Come on, let's talk.
So, sometimes I look through the chat and kind of see what the, as we dive in, as we kind of give them, some insight as to what we're going into. I try to kind of get a feel from what some of the people are saying. And one thing that was mentioned is that why is it that we never focus on?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it. You good.
Why is it that we will speak about the ills of our people, but will never take time to focus or do a broadcast specifically focusing on, and I'm using the person's words, the white man?
The white man. Okay.
When are we going to start off saying, well, I'm going to focus on what the white man is doing? And number one, to answer that, we just did a whole broadcast, I think, this past Sabbath, dealing with the Gentile conspiracy against our people as it relates to the wars and all the things that we need to do in order to prepare, understanding how they relate to that conspiracy. And we've done plenty of broadcasts dealing with the Gentile influences and the Gentile oppression against our people. But secondly, to answer that question, we'll do a broadcast focusing on solely the white man. When we can find a scripture where Christ in the gospel comes and does a sermon or comes and says, I'm going to focus solely on what Edom is doing. I'm going to focus solely on the Caesar and what he's doing.
Good point.
When you can find that in scripture, then we'll do a broadcast on that. But it just so happens that Christ, as you stated, he came for the poor. So as coming for the poor, coming to fix the poor, a majority of the ministry has to more so be dealing with constructive building, constructive elements of building the poor, opposed to focusing solely on what the oppressor is doing against the poor. I believe we're balanced. We give that perspective as well. But as much as we give that perspective, we also have to look at the hand that allows the oppressor to continue to operate in our communities.
I'm glad you brought that point out because obviously I don't know how long they have listened to our broadcast or have you probably fairly new. So I don't blame you. You probably just popped in and don't know the depths of what we teach. But all in all, keep in mind, okay, if your channel or your YouTube channel have been canceled as many times as ours, I mean, you would understand that we've been see, but we don't talk on a gutter level.
Yes, absolutely.
Concerning systematic oppression. We deal with it through the lens of prophecy and pointing out what the Most High said that other nations would be doing and how by our sinning against him, that these nations are allowed to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay? Even, a matter of fact, when you go into Paul's writings, he tells us that the wicked is continually wicked, and the Most High will letteth until he be taken out of the way. Mm-hmm. That man of sin will work until he be taken out of the way. So the whole thing is, and I'm glad whoever had that concern, I'm glad you highlighted that, because by us talking about what's really going on amongst us and the destruction we're doing amongst ourselves, some of our people's cognitive dissonance won't allow them to accept the destruction we're doing amongst ourselves. Because if we talk about what we can control, then the onus comes on us. Why aren't we doing something about it? Absolutely. It's easy to talk about what the white man is doing because you know you're not going to do nothing against the white man. Mm-hmm. So in your mind, that's the easy way out, to just beat on it with your mouth and beat up and talk about it, because you know in reality, you can't do nothing against this system. You can't do nothing against the white man that's ruling. So it's easy to talk about this thing that you're not going to do nothing about. And it's easy to ignore the real issues that's going on within your communities right now. Okay, but again, like you said, Elder Lawyer, we try to be balanced. I don't see how talking about the white man all the time is going to fix our situation. Now, and through that, today, a matter of fact, I'm going to help you out today. We're going to talk about the white man. And we're going to talk about the black man. How about that? Since you say let's be balanced, absolutely, right?
Absolutely.
And what really have stimulated this particular broadcast is that Elder Gabar the other day sent us he sent a text. He couldn't even sleep on this Netflix special of Meek Mills, of how the system has just been against this brother and against people like him, our people, okay, since North Philly's inception, okay? He grew up in an underprivileged area about 3 blocks from where I grew up at in North Philadelphia, where the only way out is basketball, music, rap, or the drug game, okay? He was getting protected by the majority of people, even though he had family members that are drug dealers and all that. They didn't want him going that road, understanding that he had a mind and a talent that could one day get all of his family out of this scenario, the ghetto. And I never really listened to the rap and all that and listened to Meek Mills, but after seeing the documentary, I understand him and I have a respect for him. He used what he had, and I believe that the experience of what happened to him being systematically destroyed, his spirit broken in jail and all that. I believe that it's a spiritual change that came with that experience for him. Where the Most High is going to take him with that, who knows? I pray that he brings it all full circle and we all stand together as God's people, understanding who we are to help our people one day. But all in all, that was a life-changing experience for him. And it really stimulated this broadcast. And I'm like, you know what? We need to do a lesson on Taskmasters. Right? I'm going to show you how it comes around full circle. For those online, you hear about this conspiratorial lawyer scenario where there was a change in hip hop, where the executives over hip hop brought rappers all in a circle and said, we're going to take this a certain type of way.
Yeah.
We're only going to promote negative, destructive music.
Yes.
Because why? They had contracts with the prison industrial complex.
Right.
And they needed to fill the jails, understanding that music and rap can drive a culture one way or the other. So what was happening is the positive raps, like the other rappers, Self-Destruction, that was a rap came out when I was growing up, and KRS-One and Public Enemy, that the government, well, not the government, you might as well say it's the government, but
prison system.
the record companies would no longer sign positive acts like that. That's why you're not going to see a lot of Lupe fiascos coming up and people that was actually rapping with content, with intellect. You'll rarely see that because you see what happened. Kendrick Lamar, they let him loose. And look what happened. He says, I'm not black, I'm an Israelite. So they were no longer funding, conscience rap.
Right.
Now, so I'm gonna show you how it comes around full circle. This guy, Meek Mills, had no idea about those particular meetings. He was still a young buck when those meetings were had. But organically, he started hustling his music in Philadelphia to a degree where all of Philadelphia, this young man was so industrious in his hustle that all of Philadelphia was playing his music without any promotion or any help from mainstream media. He was hustling his own music, the rap music, his mixtapes, and all of the youth was playing his stuff. Now, until he ran into, and I advise you all check out that particular documentary because it's saying so much, right? But he ran into his own people. A black crooked cop along with another unit. We know these DA units, these drug units. I grew up in North Philly. When they come in, they're coming in for the money. They're not really coming in for the government and all that. They're coming in for the money. So one of these units found out that he was in a house where his family dealt and went in, his own people, smashed his face up. Let me put his face up here. Let me put it up here. Smashed his face up. This is Meek, right? He went out blank, threw him in jail, took over $30,000 from out of his house. I guess his family had the money. Now, in the midst of this brother coming up and hustling his own music, all the money was stolen in the house. Now, and I'm not justifying the money that was in the house, okay? I'm just telling you what happened. But it was his own people that came in there, stole the money, broke this young man up, set him up, even though they knew he wasn't a drug dealer. They knew it when you look at the end of this documentary. He goes in front of the courts. When he went into the courts, folks, he runs into a sister by the name of Janice Brinkley. Now, of course, him being a young man, he thought, oh Lord, I got a break here. If a sister is on the bench, she will definitely give me a break. Wasn't he mistaken? This sister became a tyrant against him, put him on almost a perpetual probation. People talk about the 2.2 million brothers that are locked up within the United States alone, but don't talk about the 4.6 million that are still under some type of criminal probation or authority.
Right.
In which they don't have a regular life, being institutionalized even from the outside of jails. And this sister was a tyrant against him. Said, I'm going to give you a break and give you a 10-year probation. Claimed that he was doing drugs and all that, and he wasn't doing drugs. To a degree in which it affected him even into his late 20s, into the 30s, and she's a serious tyrant on him. Now, some people might say, well, it was a white man that put her in position as a judge. Okay. But when she got that authority, what did she do with it? And this is what's being highlighted today. Taskmasters. So since we want to talk about black or white, because I'm going to show you how this come around full circle. You would never guess what people began to highlight the injustices done to this young man and stood up and started putting their money and backing behind him. Now, you can come up with any reason for why they're doing it, right? Michael Rubin, a co-owner of the 76ers here in Philadelphia. Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots. Now, these are all white Jewish men and others lined up with Jay-Z. I guess Jay-Z got a circle and say, we're going to do something about this. We're going to highlight the criminal system, how there's one criminal system for black people and another for everyone else. And now they're shining a light on what they would call prison reform. Now, I'm sure they got their own reasons for doing that. But here's a question. Why did it take others to stand up outside of our community? Where is the Michael Rubin and Robert Kraft for our people standing up for young men like that? Because Meek Mills is just being highlighted based on his rap talent. Okay? But you have to look at the millions Meek Mills who are suffering in our communities with no help at all. A matter of fact, it's our own people pushing us into the system. Now, the black guy that formed a unit to bash this brother's face in, was that the white man? Huh? Was that the white man? The sister we see right here, who was incentivized by the government to pack the jails with young black boys. Is that the white man? Now, I'm not saying Robert Kraft and Michael Rubin is right about whatever they're doing. I don't know them. Okay? But I can say for sure something is wrong. And that leads to this discussion right now for those who've just come in. And hit the like button as you come in. The dark authority who systematically oppressed the children of God. Our people in these ghettos are the true children of Israel. And it was prophesied we would be going through this. And we'll stay in this condition as long as we continue to look on the outside of us instead of the ills that are plaguing us within. This particular discussion this evening is called Taskmasters. Most of our societal ills which plagues the poor communities like drugs, murder, broken homes, infant mortality are usually viewed on from the inside, our people, as a generational hole created by white supremacy to keep us down. But is that the absolute truth? For those who've missed this, how can an outside hand work without inside help? Just say everything you're blaming is true and the people that are doing it is true. The white man is this and white man is that. Just say everything that you have formulated and investigated has been found to be true concerning the white man. How can outside hand of the white man or the boogeyman, whoever you want to claim, how can that hand be effective without inside help? Now, we must come to grips with the fact that there's a dark element that has always worked within our communities. And when I say dark, I'm not talking about just the color of the skin. Without us actually recognizing the harmful effects of it on our people, which have led to a generational curse. So here's a question. Can that taskmaster spirit in our communities be identified? Can we identify it? And if so, how can we work our way around that wicked element, knowing it's not going anywhere? It's not going anywhere, and I'm going to prove that. It will always be there. How can we work our way around it? 515-605-9327. Hit that like button, because what I want you to do, Elder Lawyer Noun, I need us to go into the Old Testament and the New Testament. And what I would like to do is give some examples of a government planning the demise of our people. Understanding that this has always existed. And how some of our people stood for right and others stood to destroy us from within. That element has always been there within our people. We'll go in the Old Testament and we'll go into the New Testament, because the reality is wickedness under a wicked system is incentivized. The question is, who is the people who are so morally decrepit that they'll take the payout, that they'll take the 30 pieces from government and grandize themselves off of the back or on the graves of their own people? See? And then we have to ask, who's the real problem? Who's the greater threat? The outside hand or the inside one? That's an entirely different point. I didn't put, within the synopsis for this particular broadcast, right? But go ahead, Elder Lloyd. Let's get some government examples according to the scriptures, right? Real quick, out of the Bible.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 1.
So we go into Exodus 1 for what in particular?
We're going to Exodus 1 to first and foremost show a system from a governmental level, as you were mentioning, an oppression against the nation of Israel.
Okay.
But within that governmental system, actually taskmasters being set up in order to make sure that that system is successful in their oppression.
So to make sure that there's one thing for the government to set up or make a law for oppression.
Right.
But then there's taskmasters that are put in place to make sure those agendas are carried out.
Exactly.
Okay, come on.
Exactly. So this is Exodus chapter 1, verse number 7.
Okay.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them.
Yeah.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold.
Now a king would be synonymous today to a president or government figure of authority, like a president, right? So here's a government plan, okay, against the children of God within the Bible here. Okay, a population control plan by the president or Pharaoh against a people who are growing in number and an uncontrollable number within Egypt. Right? Come on.
Verse 9. And he said unto his people, Behold.
Hold up. They say you're not loud enough, lawyer. Let me turn yours up real quick. 1 second. Yours is here.
Maybe I just have to stay close here.
No, go ahead. You can talk now. It should be better.
All right. This is the book of Exodus chapter 1, verse number 9.
Go ahead.
And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, when there falleth out any war, they join themselves unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
So get them what?
And get them up out of the land.
Okay, so what he's showing here is that there was a government plan to deal wisely with the overpopulating or multiplying of a particular race of people. At this time, these people are our people, the children of Israel, multiplying in the land of Egypt. Now, this was before we became the nation of Israel. We didn't become the nation of Israel until we left Israel and inhabited Canaan. So right now, we're just Egyptian citizens of Shemitic race living in a Hamitic land. And the Egyptians and others are planning to do what? To control our multiplying, right? Now that's systematic. Now we all know the plan. The plan of Pharaoh was to, let's get the plan, read it with the midwives.
Some people are saying that the mic is still low.
The mic is still low?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Yeah, I think about 2 people.
Okay, let me see if I can turn it up more. 1 second, because we really need to hit this right. Go ahead now.
All right. How's this? Is this better?
Is that better?
Okay. Now, for some people, it's saying it's loud and clear. So
All right.
maybe you just have to turn up your computer.
Okay, you should be good. But go
Okay,
ahead.
all right.
Say something again.
So reading on, this is, and before we continue, just to make sure we're clear here, right? This is...
Yeah, you good now. You good.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
This is the Egyptians doing this against the Israelites. So
Exactly.
This is a dark-skinned race, not a white race, but a dark-skinned race enacting this plan of oppression against another dark race.
You know what? And that is a good point, because this is a black race, even though they're not Shemitic, conspiring with a government plan to oppress our people in Egypt. Right? But go on.
Yes, sir. So the desire for oppression over another people, that's not exclusive
It's not
to one particular
exclusive
race.
to white people. And it's about time we began to broaden the minds of our people who only see things black and white. You have to broaden your mind beyond that. You have to realize the prophecies of God on us is more broad and vast than just white people against black people. When you look at Deuteronomy 28, when it says that there's going to be a curse when our children come in the world and how they go out of the world, that's not just saying the white man is doing something. That's talking about even within our own neighborhoods, there's an element in which our lives will be threatened. Opposed to how it was when we were in Israel with the priest in place, with a government, a system in place to deal with criminality. So he says, listen, if you don't want to respect the government and laws that I have for you, let's see how you live in a land without law. Since you want to be lawless, I'm going to put the other nations over you who don't follow law at all and see how you fare. See how you fare then. When your children going outside and you're praying and hope that they make it back. So that wasn't just talking about a white man doing something. That was talking about a curse that would happen living in a system without leaders. Okay, without protection. But go on, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 10. Come on, Let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that
You're too
when...
loud now.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
All
You
right.
good. Go ahead.
All right. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto their enemy, or unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
So get them up out of the land. So let's see what the plan they had for the children, specifically the young boys. Specifically the young boys that was prophesied to do what? To lead the children of Israel one day out of that Egyptian captivity. Let's read it.
Verse 11, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
So they set who over?
Taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
So to execute the government plan, they had to get an element from the inside of our people, from the inside. Taskmasters. They were given jobs to those who were willing to work with the government to systematically oppress the children of God. Employment, incentivizing them, paying. How many times you walked into a situation that you knew was incorrect in some type of institution or something, and you go to them and say, you know this isn't right, be it at a store, at the doctor's office, no matter what, and they come back to you and say, or with the police, and they come back to you and say, well, listen, I'm just doing my job. The response to it, you know they're wrong. They know they're wrong. But the answer to that is, what can I do? I'm just doing my job.
Yep.
Right? These are taskmasters who are willing to forego their own morality and values for money. And there's always, believe it or not, I mean, if you look at the oppression and the substandard living that our people have perpetually been in, I mean, there's a line around the corner for people who will be incentivized to oppress their own people. See? So there's gonna always be someone who say, well, I'll do it. I'll do it. Right? But go on. These are taskmasters. And listen, some people are identifying them out of nowhere. You have one person, who this? Akita said boule in our communities. Like the boule mason and fraternities who say, I'll do it.
Right.
I'll work for the government to oppress my own people. Now, are we going to blame the white man for the fraternity boules? But I digress, but go on.
Yes, sir. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
Now, let's go to the systematic healthcare plan that was given. The healthcare plan, because at this time, midwives would be considered today, right? There were midwives back then, but today midwives would be considered what, brothers and sisters? Who? Nurses. So then they had a systematic plan to use the healthcare system, if you want to put it that way. Knowing that the hospitals or the nurses or the doctors have in their hand life or death when a child is born. So so the systematic plan was to destroy a people. You now need to focus on those who deliver the babies, right? If you're going to control a population, you must focus on the mother's womb to control the population. Come on.
Yes, sir. I'm going to start at verse 13 where it says...
Look, someone said, and I'm going to talk about that too. Man, you are sharp in here today. We got Judah Sue who says eugenics. We're going to touch on that. But go on.
Yes, sir. Verse 13 says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
To serve with rigor.
And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
So now they would employ them in certain positions. I'm talking about taskmasters, and have these people be harder on our people than the Egyptians. It's one now the Egyptian will come around and he'll be your buddy sometime.
Right.
Yeah, how you doing? You okay? And it'll take the boss to give you to give relief from your own people. It'll be another race to come in and say, "Why don't you calm down?
Right.
Why are you so
Right.
hard on? We get a job and we act like our family, our generations are going to be taken care of through this employment. We get a position and act like we never worked on the floor with everyone else." Right? So they put people in position. They start putting us in position. And we became harder on our people than the government. You just want to gloss over that? You don't think that's a problem? Go on.
Verse number 14, or verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other was Puah.
Come on.
And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son,
If it be a son, then the target is what? The male child. Why? Because they know according to genetics, the nation of that particular child is defined through the father. The father's seed denotes the nation that child comes from. There's no such thing as mixed people, folks. There's no such thing. It's the seed of the father that determines the nation. So if they were going to control what was going on, they need to first stop the seed of the righteous, the man. That's why do you think the same way today that the true man of the Most High is being downplayed, ridiculed, demonized in this system? They're trying to phase out what a black man looks like altogether. Every commercial you see on TV shows, everything, it's a woman and a child. It's systematic. It's the same thing. Because why? If that woman gets with another nation, she knows that nation now has been cut out. If you get a black woman who deal with another nation and bring forth a child, or not an Israelite child, whatever that father is, that's the line that's continued, whether it be an Ishmaelite seed, a Hamite seed, whatever the seed is. That person have now cut off their nation. See? Come on.
if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
If it be a son, ye shall kill him. Now, check this out, folks. Now, these women had enough moral fortitude to deny the order to a degree in which now the Egyptians had to come from behind the veil to do the dirty work themselves. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you, if the midwives would have complied, they would have just sat back and they would have just sat back and witnessed black on black crime.
Right.
They would have sat back and just let us kill each other like they're doing now. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, let me give you some examples now.
Before you...
No, go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Lloyd.
don't want to put the cart before the horse,
No,
but
go
what
ahead.
you just stated really is a great part of the solution. If we don't comply, or if we choose not to go along with it, it forces their hand to now come from behind the veil so that we can see things for what they really are.
Exactly. So now, if it's the white man, now we see the white man engaging us now. Mm-hmm. Now it's time to say, well, okay.
Right.
I knew you would come from behind your curtain.
That's right.
But unless you get the first element out of the way, you don't know who's really attacking you or destroying you or coming at you. See? And the example I can give on just a lower note, for years, our people have been leaving the black church. Been leaving the Christian church altogether. Not black church, but the Christian churches. No matter what the denomination, and coming into the truth that we're Israelites. And the pastors in the communities cannot contend with this understanding because they are teaching people, they don't know who they are. It doesn't matter, which isn't enough for this generation. So now that the pastors within our communities cannot contend with the true doctrine that we're the children of Israel, now you see the others are coming out from behind the veil trying to contend against Israelites. Mm-hmm. These were the masters who were controlling the black church the whole time. Mm-hmm. But you would have never known it. Why? Because until it was revealed that the black pastors in the communities were deceiving the community. It had to be pointed out that they were teaching lies and that they learned this from the theologian school and the Romans and taught lies, white supremacy and racism through Christian theology, that they were upholding a white theology, a racist theology. And once that was pointed out, many people began to leave the church, and now you see the Zionists are coming out now, trying to contend against the doctrine of that we're Israel. You see the apologetics, you see the Jesuits, everybody, but they were always there, folks. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to use that example.
Absolutely, absolutely.
See, and that's why I like these particular type of discussions, right? Because the unseen hand will absolutely stay unseen unless his hand is forced.
That's right.
See? You with me now? Okay, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, you want the show?
Oh, yeah. Go back to the midwives again.
Yes, sir. Going to the midwives, this is verse 15. It says, "And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name was one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other was Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women..."
You don't got to go that far. You real loud now. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. "When you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
If it be a son, you shall what?
Ye shall kill him.
Ye shall kill him.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God."
They feared God first. They feared God first. Like, no, listen, there's a consequence. There's consequences for killing the men of Israel, the man-child. See, the Most High don't look down on us like this system does. He sent us, the black man, the children of Israel, in this earth for his purpose. So these women back then understood that. They say, well, no, we're not touching those men. Those men are the righteous. Christ one day, the prophet who will free us all. Even Moses one day. They didn't know Moses at the time, but they said a prophet was prophesied to come through a sister's loins to deliver these people. No way am I killing these children. Why would I be responsible for my own demise and my people's demise and compromise our people's freedom? No way will we kill the righteous man-child. So what happens?
"But the midwives feared God and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive."
They saved them alive, and that's when Pharaoh made a new law where the armies would now come. They would watch women who were pregnant, and the armies would come and throw the children in the water or kill them right out. See, and I'm just showing you this. And the taskmasters, nonetheless, that was put over, the foremans that were put over the buildings, they gave us hell, brothers and sisters. And a lot of these taskmasters were our people. Right? Now, let me give you another example. Let's talk about Christ now. Let's go to Herod. Now, Herod is an Edomite. He was a white man, Herod the Greek. And he made a decree to kill Christ at birth. And when he couldn't get Christ because the angel appeared to Joseph and Mary and told them to take the child into Egypt, More proof that Christ wasn't white. Because how are you going to hide yourself in a black area at this time, being a white man? How would he hide in Egypt? He would have stuck out like a sore thumb. So he must have been a black man. Okay, but I digress. I don't need to teach that anymore. If we're Israelites and you see how we look, common sense will tell you how Christ looked, right? Now, let's go straight to it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1. Now, when Yeshua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he demanded of them where Christ should be born.
So, he didn't just go out into the neighborhood. He went amongst the government consuls.
Exactly.
See? The authoritative people in position. Read.
Verse 5, And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
That's Christ. That's Yeshua, who was prophesied of old to be the child who would one day deliver us from the Roman Empire. Go on.
Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again.
Bring me word again.
That I may come and worship him also. When they heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was.
Now, I need you to go directly to when the Most High began to direct Joseph and Mary concerning Herod's plot to kill the child.
Yes, sir. Verse 12. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they had departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt.
Go to Egypt.
And be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
Because Herod had a decree to kill the Savior. That was a white man with a plan to kill. But he didn't just go out and have the army go after him. He sent our people out looking for him first. It was the angels who stopped our people from giving the wise men, stopped the wise men from getting to Herod to actually pinpoint Christ's location. So what did Herod do? He sent out his armies and killed every child 2 years and back within Jerusalem. Right? Now, going into the nurse, I'm just showing you that there's nothing new under the sun. Yeah, there's plans against us from the outside of us, without any question. But there's an inside element that exists. So the question is, there's a dark element that has always worked within our communities without us even recognizing it or ignoring it altogether. That's harmful to us. Can they be identified? And if so, how can we work around this wicked element? I see people in our communities who allow astrologers, people who deal with Yoruba, witchcraft, sorcery, and all that to operate in your community as if it's not affecting you. People that deal with demon possession and all that, witchcraft, sorcery, and we befriend all this as if it's not directly affecting us, as if they're not opening up the gates of hell to attack the children of God within our communities. And that's just from the spiritual side of things. But let's now get back to the nurses, because one of the government agendas is to use the healthcare system to destroy us. Why? Because there's nothing new under the sun. America, being the modern day Egypt, will use the same tactics as ancient Egypt.
Exactly.
Right? Someone was someone brought out eugenics earlier, right? Someone brought out eugenics earlier, right? Where the mother will bring this child into a place with strangers to get strange pathogens and diseases shot into their children. And to some degree, we begin to believe that that's normal. So now I need to go back before it became the norm and show you the plan that was put in place before vaccines became a household name. Hold tight. Margaret Sanger, the sister or someone in the chat mentioned eugenics. She had a statement that stated, "No woman can call herself free." Now, mind you, our people were getting lynched under Jim Crow and all that when this witch before us made this proclamation. What she was saying wasn't to empower our people at all. Okay? No woman can call herself free who does not own and control her own body. Some of what is parroted today when the topic or the discussion of abortion comes up. These are her words. She came up with that quote that a woman should have the right to choose, the right to control what happens to her body. The witch came up with that. Now, why do I call her witch? Well, she was actually, germinated, if I can use that word, created out of the synagogues and had an agenda because they needed a woman, someone who could actually pander to our community without being seen as a threat. Right? The same way till you're talking about the liberal, at this time, the liberal white woman, who we think are aligned with us or care for us and all that, but you have to understand their agenda. Right?
And I think you make that point because a lot of times she was a front piece, a mouthpiece, but there were a lot of very rich organizations and corporations funding and behind a lot of the propaganda that she was putting forward. So she wasn't a lone wolf.
Exactly, because it's not like she's some lone nut that wasn't incentivized. And through her plans, our people would be incentivized to kill their own. She was in league with Bill Gates' father, who was a eugenicist. The Bill Gates Foundation, Planned Parenthood, and all that, and killing children. The whole abortion apparatus was created, not that other races don't get abortions, but was created to solely focus on depopulating our people. The same agenda that happened in Egypt. Same plan. But I'm using her for an example because there's a few quotes you need to know that's out there that leads to your vaccination programs, that leads to your abortion programs, that leads to women liberation and feminism, which separates you from your protector. That whole ideology came from Satan and Satan's daughter. I wanted to highlight that. Let me pull it up now. Stick with me here. One second. There's something that says, oh, here it is. Here it is. That's what I need. Net. See it? Good. Let me put this down here, and I'm going to read this. It says, matter of fact, let me get here. Here it is. I hope you all can see this. Y'all can see it? Good. It's not moving. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Now, 21 quotes by Margaret Sanger that will probably make you sick. The student action. These quotes by Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, reveal the wicked roots of the abortion movement. Right? Let me go straight to it, the quotes. First quote. But from my view, I believe that there should be no more babies. An interview with John Parsons in 1947. 2. The most merciful thing that the large family does to one of its infant members. The most merciful thing that a large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it. Woman and Race, Chapter 5, The Wickedness of Creating Large Families, 1920. Number 3. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. Number 4. I accepted an invitation to talk to the women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan. I was escorted to the platform, was introduced, and began to speak. In the end, through simple illustrations, I believed I had accomplished my purpose. A dozen invitations to speak to similar groups with a word pre-offered. 5. I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children in the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born. That to me is the greatest sin that people can commit. An interview by a journalist with Mike Wallace in 1957. On and on and on and on and on. Let me go here. The most serious evil of our times that of encouraging the bringing into the world large families. The most immoral practice of the day is breeding too many children. Margaret Sanger, Woman and the New Race. Number 7, eugenics without birth control seems to us a house builded upon the sands. It is the mercy of the rising stream of the unfit. This is what you think about us. Number 8, as an advocate of birth control. Now, mind you, she's not in our community at all. So what we do in our community isn't directly affecting her. See? As an advocate of birth control, I wish to take advantage of the present opportunity to point out the unbalance between the birth rate of the unfit and the fit. Now, in order for them to make unfit children, they would have to use a systematic medication like vaccines to compromise the genetics to say, well, these people are genetically unfit. Huh? On and on and on and on. When you get a chance, you can look it up yourself. Look at it. Look at it. That's the demon right there. For those who wanted me to talk about someone outside of our race, that's fine. There you go. That's the demon right there. She's probably burning in hell right now. Okay. You got what you wanted today. She's probably burning in hell, but her dream lives on. Mm-hmm. Right. And who's executing her dream within our communities? Mm-hmm. She's dead and gone. She's burning in hell with her daddy right now. I mean, well, her daddy will meet her soon. The devil, okay? But her dream lives on through the hands of our people. Right? There she go. There go a baby right there. There goes somebody right there. Right? The Egyptian conspiracy in front of us, right in front of you. Mm-hmm. Right?
I'm not sure if you have the quote also where she's quoted as stating
It's in
that
there.
about the informing the pastors and certain leaders within the black community of actually promoting that the abortion or the eugenics plan will not work without the support of black clergy or black leadership.
Let's get that. I'm glad you mentioned that out because that's one of the quotes. That she said that she's going to use black pastors and people of influence to carry out her agenda within our communities. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, there you go. I'm going to pull that up. I want them to see it also, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, 1 second. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up for you, brothers and sisters, so you can read it yourself. And this is Time Magazine. One moment here. This is Time Magazine here. It's loading. 1 second. It's amazing how it's taken this thing forever to load. It's deep in itself. But let me see if I can put it on this one here. It's incredible that it's taken this long to load. Okay, I'm gonna use a different browser here. 1 second, because y'all have to see this. It's still loading on this other thing, but I'm gonna take this one out. Bear with me 1 second, folks. Right? Here it is here. Bear with me 1 second. Let me see where it is here. All right, let me get rid of this child right here that they're trying to kill with a vaccine. Let's see here. Let me get this right here. All right. Properties. See if you see it here.
What is it? Safari. Yep, right there, right under quick.
Right here?
Yep.
There it is. That's what I want. All right. Well, I don't see it. 1 second, folks. I'm going to pull up a new browser. It didn't pop up. Give me a second. See it? Right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. All right. There you go. There you go. 1 second, folks. Let me get it. Transform. Hit the screen. There go the devil's daughter. Right there. There you go. All right. All right. Eugenics and race. Right? Let's get that out of here. Time Magazine. What did she say about black leaders here? Let's get it. Right here.
Mm-hmm. You probably.
I need you to read this real quick.
I'll start here where it says the struggle for justice.
No.
Or you want me to start?
Yeah. Start right here. Last year.
Yes, sir.
Right here.
Last year, 25 House Republicans campaigned to have a bust of the pioneering family planner removed from the Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery.
So here it is. She was revered and plastered as a hero in the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery. Go on.
Where it has been included in an exhibit featuring American civil rights leaders. Wow. Called The Struggle for Justice.
She was actually heralded as a hero amongst civil rights leaders for black people. Where's our leaders? Where's our gatekeepers to vet stuff like this, right? But go on.
It says with Ted Cruz's office issuing a press release explaining that she didn't belong there for a number of reasons. The most damning of which is that part of her inhumane life's work. She advocated for the extermination of African Americans. It's not the first time Sanger has faced this accusation. During her past primary season, or this past primary season, Ben Carson proclaimed that Sanger believed that people like me should be eliminated, later clarifying per PolitiFact that he was talking about the black race.
Now, you notice that no one talked about this until Ben Carson brought it out. They was going to just let that be until he said something. A brother, read on.
Later clarifying per PolitiFact that he was talking about, he was talking about the black race. In 2011, Herman Cain alleged that Sanger's original goal for Planned Parenthood was to help kill black babies before they came into the world.
Look at that.
Yep.
Let's read now, right here.
It says here, much of the controversy stems from a 1939 letter in which Sanger outlined her plan to reach out to black leaders.
To reach out to black leaders.
Specifically, ministers.
Ministers, preachers, pastors.
To help dispel community suspicions about the family planning clinics she was opening in the South.
In the South. So they didn't set up planned abortion to help women who've been raped or something happened where she had a child and the guy walked away and she's left by herself with no moral support or help. Here's the plan the whole time, folks. But she said we need to do what? We need a large number of black ministers, people of influence, that we can incentivize to help us kill black babies.
This is her quote here.
Here's the quote.
This is Margaret Sanger. We do not want word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs.
We can use the pastors because these pastors are not reading the Bible anyway. They just want the cash. But go on.
If it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members.
Look at that there. And folks, this is Time Magazine. This is not conspiracy. They're right in your face telling you this is Time Magazine, folks. This isn't conspiracy at all. Do y'all see that? Now, who's the bigger problem here, folks? Margaret Sanger or the ministers who continue to go along with the program to sell eugenics to our people within the communities who trust the ministers, who trust the doctors, who trust those in authority position, who trust the judges? Huh? Who? Think about this. They know there's an element in our community that can always get purchased or brought. Now, let me give you the other side. It was our people who gave up Christ to Pontius Pilate, who trumped up charges against Christ in some horse and pony show lying on our Savior. It was our people who gave him up. Now, why am I going here? Because I'm showing you both sides of it. Here's an instance where our people is giving up an innocent man, a black man, to the white man. Let's see what happened when they gave him up to the white man.
Yes, sir.
And what did our people say? Because Pilate said, well, listen, Pontius Pilate was a white man, folks. He was a Roman. We were the judges. We were the judges, and we gave them over to the white man. And the white man was like, well, listen, I've went through the case, and I've questioned him, and I don't see no fault in this man. I don't see nothing wrong with him. And let's see what happened when the white man offered a viable solution. Once a year, the Roman Empire has a law in which we will absolve or pardon one of your people in our prisons. You can take the known criminal, Barabbas, who's terrorizing your people, who's harming your people, or leave him locked up in jail, and we'll release Christ to you. Let's see the choice our leaders made during crisis time. Let's read it.
This is Matthew chapter 27, verse number 19.
Come on.
When he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with this just man, for I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. This governor answered and said unto them, Whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you?
So here it is. Pontius Pilate wanted to wash his hands of Christ's blood and saying, well, listen, I'm not going to make this choice and kill him or harm this man, knowing he did nothing wrong. It's you people that are trumping up charges against your own people. So he says, listen, I'm going to give you a choice. Take the criminal that you know is giving your communities hell. Take him and leave this innocent man alone. And let's see what choice our people made.
The governor answered and said unto them, Whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you?
Who are you going to choose?
They said, Barabbas.
They said, give us Barabbas. Release the criminal in our community. We would have the criminal in our community harming men, women, and children before the righteous. Tell me we're not these people. Tell me we're not the children of Israel, folks. Can you imagine going into the suburbs and you ask the people in the suburbs, give me a choice. We're going to give you a choice to let this criminal back on your block. Or we'll free this innocent man and give him community service because he didn't really do anything wrong. We'll give you the good guy who did nothing wrong, or we're going to let the criminal back in your community. Who would they choose? Who would they choose? Tell me this is not us. But go on.
Verse number 22. Pilate saith unto them, What shall I do then with Jesus, which is called
Listen,
Christ?
someone says, Midnight Mediation says, Faye Walton is the first black president of Planned Parenthood. Must we say more? We have judges that are harming our brothers in the communities, like that judge we showed you earlier. We have sorcerers, we have fraternities all up in our communities coming against us, understanding that the Most High is using this generation to awaken the children of Israel out of sleep, bringing our people out of captivity. This is what the Egyptians feared. This is what the Roman Empire under Herod feared, that a generation would break the psychosis and begin to come back to the God of Israel. Okay? But there's an element operating amongst us as taskmasters to keep us down. The question I'm going to ask is, how do we work around these people? And maybe some of you have some ideas, and maybe you could bring some ideas, right?
Absolutely.
But go on.
It says here, What shall I do then with Yeshua, which is called Christ? They all say unto him, Let him be crucified.
Let him be crucified. Kill the good.
And the governor said, Why? What evil hath he done?
Hold up. It's red right there. For some reason. Can y'all still see me clearly? Because it says the video output is low. Can y'all all see us clearly? One moment. That's deep in itself. One moment.
I think this is off again, the charger.
Oh.
But that shouldn't have any issues.
But that wouldn't be for this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, 1 second. 1 second here. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. It's coming back. 1 moment. One moment. Okay. Okay, we good? Okay, they said it's fine now. It's fine? I want to make sure you all can see us because we're jumping right in. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
This is verse number, Matthew 27, verse number 23. And the governor said,
Hold
why?
up, chapter and verse again.
Matthew 27, verse number 23. And the governor said, why? What evil hath he done?
He says, someone says it's choppy. Some people says it's good. Someone says they hear and see us, but I don't know why we're lagging because it should be better now. One second. One second, folks. Someone says it's fine. It's good? Y'all sure it's good? Because if not, we can find another option here.
Starting to go red again.
Yeah. I don't know why. One second. Give us 1 second. We'll come right back. See how it's still going down.
Yeah.
1 second. I don't know what the issue is. I apologize. Give us 1 second. We're going to come back with the second half. 1 moment. Should be good now.
All right. Yep. Let's back up.
It still fades, yeah.
Yeah. We have to turn down our quality.
No, it's not that. Give us a couple of seconds. I know what it is. 1 second.